What's up, everybody? This is Sean. Thanks for joining me for another episode of the Strength and Leadership Podcast. I've got another great guest with me today, an old friend, an old college teammate as well. You've seen a couple of those already, but this one is a pretty neat story simply because of the transformation that he's had. His name is Chad Bandiera. He's from the Cleveland area originally. Now he's hanging out in sunny Las Vegas. A former offensive lineman. We played together for 1 year. You graduated after the 2004 season, but spent some time in the NFL. After that, moved out to Las Vegas. So, Chad, thanks for being here with me, man.
Hey, all right. Thanks for having me.
Great. So I kind of want to let's give the background story first. Just kind of talk about your experience as an offensive lineman. How it felt being an offensive lineman, and then the transition from the NFL. What were the expectations during your time there, and then kind of walk us through how you got to where you are now.
Right. Okay. Well, I resisted being an offensive lineman for a while. Like when I was in high school, I thought I was a linebacker and a tight end. Like I think most linemen do, And then
it's the last resort for
right,
all of us.
Right. I was a linebacker and tight end, and then I only started getting recruited as a lineman. And, my high school coach was telling me, like, I told you this was happening. You're not a linebacker or a tight end. You're a lineman. So, I accepted that when I went to Kent. And, man, at Kent, I started as a tackle, and that's all I thought I was because, tackles are like the bigger, more athletic guys. And then I think it was my junior year when Coach Martin came in. He took one look at me and said, "You're not a tackle, you're a guard." Like, oh, geez, now I'm going from tight end to tackle. Now you got me as a guard. And then I loved it, man. I loved being a guard, like, being on the inside there, all the double teams and everything. So I really did enjoy that. I enjoyed being a lineman at Kent, man. I really did. I embraced it. It wasn't until like my junior year that I embraced it. But I think I got to like 310 when I was at Kent. And I started there at 240.
Wow.
My true freshman year at Kent, I played a game against West Virginia on TV, and I was 240, and I remember the announcers in the game were going, "That's got to be the lightest lineman in the NCAA right now." And I just like that kind of like hit me like, geez, I got to gain some weight here. Like, right. I'm not even really taken seriously here. So I did, and I think by my junior year, I hit the 300 mark, and that and it was just all big from there.
You never looked that big though, like. From my recollection, it never seemed like I mean, you weren't like fat. I mean, like
right.
None of us really seemed fat. I mean, I always thought that you held your weight well.
Right. I was never the guy that had like that huge, those guys that had that big old gut. I mean, we had some of those on the team. I was never that guy. And at the time I would tell myself, I'm just a big, strong guy. But it wasn't until like later that I realized, I was kind of fat. I was just all over big. Like, I didn't have that big gut, but I was just doughy all over. But we were strong back then, man. Like back in the 300-pound days. I was a lot stronger than I am now. But, and then from there, man, when I did get sort of like scouted for the NFL, it was only for center. Playing guard in the NFL was not an option. I don't know how they determined this or what.
Was it the height thing?
Man, I guess it was a little bit of height. It was hand size. I don't know that. They were talking a lot about my hands, and you're a center, period. And I never snapped the ball before. So to snap and step at the NFL level for your first time, I was just behind the ball, man. Right. I always felt like if I could just play guard, I swear you guys are going to really like what I do. But it's like, no, you got to learn to snap and step. So then the first place I went was the Washington Redskins. I was there just for like a week-long mini camp and learning to snap and step. Didn't go well. And then I went to the Arizona Cardinals, and now I'm snapping to Kurt Warner, who I'm gonna break this guy's hand. I don't know what I'm doing. Just constantly nervous about it. And that didn't last long either. I didn't do much with the NFL, man. I was there for a little bit of the preseason. I think I did 2 preseason games with the Cardinals. Left, got released, and came back later on that year for maybe like a 2-week period, like a practice squad kind of thing. I don't even know if there really was a real practice squad. That was basically the concept. And then that was it. Then I tried the arena football thing for a day. I went to LA to play for the Los Angeles Avengers.
I remember that.
And dude, I remember being at that practice, and I was playing guard.
Yeah.
No, I was playing center, and the guy next to me went out for a pass. And I remember going, "Whoa, how is this guy going out for a pass? This guy's a guard." They're like, no, in this league you can do that. And I started thinking, like, nah, I don't know, man, this isn't for me. And there was a coach there from maybe Central Michigan, or maybe no, Ball State. There's a coach there from Ball State that coached on that team, and he remembered me from college. And he grabbed me between the first two practices, or between practice the first day I was there, and he asked me, like, did you get your degree when you were at Kent? I was like, yeah, I did, man. He said, did you have a job? I said, yeah, I was in Vegas. I was working. He goes, go do that. Trust me, go do that. You don't want to do this. And I go, all right, that's all I need to hear. I am out of here. And I left between the two practices. I talked to the head coach and said, this is for me, man. And that was the end of the football career.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the last day.
Well, I think the important thing there is, especially, you recognized you were done.
Yeah.
And there's so many guys. Like, I dabbled in the arena league too. And
oh, okay.
And it was interesting to see how many guys were still clinging on to something that you could tell that dog wasn't going to hunt.
You're right. And that was kind of the feeling I got there. The guys that I was around, nothing wrong with those guys, but you can kind of tell, like, they need this to be their income. Like, this is it. They don't have another plan. And I sort of did. And I just thought, you know what, I could do this for a couple years, and then I'm behind the ball in, like, the real world. You know, now I'll be in the real world at 26 years old. I have no resume because I tried to play arena football for 15 years.
Right.
So I think I made the right choice there in the arena thing. Obviously, I wish the NFL lasted longer, but I think I made the right choice. And a lot of the guys from Kent did, like, man, that USFL came out maybe, or what do they call it? That one year they did that.
Geez, there's so many. The AAPL or the A.
They had
a lot of letters, I remember.
Right. They had one that people were taking seriously, and it no season never happened. But a lot of guys from, like, my age at Kent.
I remember that.
Yeah. That. And I thought about it, and I think I was like 4 years removed at that time. And I thought about it, and I thought, no, that would be the same concept. Yeah. I'm gonna go give up everything I'm doing here to go try to play some football. No.
Yeah. And some of them actually seemed legitimate too. Like the models seemed like they were strong, right? And it was based on, authentic football. Even the XFL, I thought, had a chance.
I think this year could have, man. I went to a game this year. I went to the one in LA this year. It was cool. That one got shut down because of this whole COVID thing. That one may have had a chance.
Yeah. Now with Dwayne Johnson buying into it, there's a chance that it could be revived.
He'll figure it out. He will figure it out.
Yeah, because he loves football. I mean, he's a football guy.
He's a football player, yeah.
But cool. So once you started working security, how did you end up dropping the weight? Because you were probably still 3+ bills at that point, right?
Oh yeah. My first suit that I bought out here when I had to get a suit to work at a nightclub was a 58 long.
Wow.
And yeah, huge. It really, man, it took me a while. I stayed in the 300 range probably till I was about 28 years old. And I'm not really sure. Well, I guess, I had back problems big time. And I went to a doctor, and he said, you got two options here. You can lose your gut, you can get back surgery. And he goes, I promise you don't want to get back surgery. I said, all right. And I'm not going to say I walked out of that doctor like a changed man, but that did hit home a little bit. Like, I was telling myself, I'm a big guy. I could be 300 pounds. I could eat everything in sight. And I would tell myself that for a couple of years, like, kind of convincing myself this is okay. It was probably around that day I thought, like, what am I doing, man? I'm not playing football. I don't need to be huge. I don't need 3XL shirts anymore. And it was pretty much from that day I started just eating a lot less. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't need to eat the entire chicken at dinner. I can eat half of it,
right,
and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I did that for a while. That was kind of it for a while. I always worked out from football, but I think I had a real hard time making the change from, like, football workouts.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to the gym and bench press, and I want to go to the gym and deadlift, and that was it. I didn't want to do anything else. I mean, in football at Kent, did we ever do curls? I don't think we ever did.
I remember
Or
one
maybe they.
day, this was well after you. This was towards the end of my career. We were playing, I think it was for Virginia Tech my junior year. It was
Yeah.
a ESPN2 game. And so
Okay.
like we were prepping and we were like, our strength coach was like, we got to get in the curls, got to have the guns
It's gonna
looking
be
big
on
for TV,
TV.
you know? It's just, so we did, that was like our finisher for that day. I
Right,
remember,
right, right.
but I mean, it was you're not in the weight room, you're not doing isometric,
Right. And I get that.
exercises.
We're building football players, and I understand that, but like I didn't understand how to do any of that because all I knew was
Right.
football lifting, man.
Right.
That's all I wanted to put the most weight on that bar as I could and see if I can do it 3 or 4 times. And that
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah.
That was a long time. That was a long time I would do that. And that was the guy at the gym that would do my set of bench press, and then I would sit at the end of the bench for 7 minutes until I was ready to do another one.
Yeah.
And that was how I spent my hour at the gym. And like that, and I kind of figured out how much like, wow, that's not how you should exercise, at least
Right.
as an adult, not as a non-football player. Maybe they still do that in football. I don't know, but that's not what I do anymore. So yeah, so it took about till I was 28, 29 to start losing weight. And then it was probably, I'm 37 now, and it wasn't until I was probably about 30 years old that I feel like I transformed my body a little bit to look less like a lineman, more like a linebacker.
You finally hit that stage.
Yeah, I finally I think I kind of just figured it out, man, how to train in a way where not only you're getting bigger, but you're like burning fat. So
Right.
I figured that out.
And
I've been doing that for like the past 6 years.
that's where it seems like a lot of people, everybody wants it to be so easy. And everything you do, like everything that I've seen you do is not easy. I mean,
No, yeah.
it's very, very taxing. In fact, watching you do some of that stuff just makes my knees hurt. And so, and so that's an interesting thing too. So, I mean, we're both linemen, and I think you came out of the game relatively healthy, didn't you?
I did. I didn't have one real injury, man. I think I got my
No.
knee scoped at the last game of the season. I had to get my knee scoped, and that was pretty much it. Yeah.
So your body's in probably a little bit better shape than mine. But
What did you have?
Well, let's see. I had a torn MCL. That was my freshman year going into first day of spring ball. I remember after the freshman season. So after you left that spring, I tore my MCL first day. They shampooed the carpet that day.
Oh, Jesus.
And so tore my MCL. And then I broke my foot that fall against Navy in the middle of the game. I remember that.
Did you play the rest of the game?
I played the next 2 series.
Okay. Sometimes you just don't know. My foot hurts.
Yeah. I heard it snap. I mean, I heard like it was bad. I heard the thing snap. But I also thought I had broken my hand too. The very first series of that game, I went to cut a guy. I was playing center, so I went to cut the nose guard, and then the backside 3 was chasing the ball down and then stepped on my hand.
Oh,
so he stepped on my left hand, my whole hand swelled up. And by the end of the game, I'm on crutches with what I thought was a broken left hand and a broken left foot. Right. I couldn't even crutch. And then we got on the plane, everything swelled up even more, and it's just, that was a bad deal. But thankfully the hand wasn't broken. It was just the foot, but had to get surgery on that. And even to this day, I still have pain with that. Junior year was okay, but I suffered a real nasty sprain that I just played on, and now it's permanently swollen. So so I've got a little bit of mobility issue with that.
Yeah.
And then my senior year, there was a blown bursa sac in my knee. Now I've got nerve damage on. That was my.
Oh, jeez, dude.
I know, dude. I got beat the hell up.
That put you out?
No. So that was actually in fall camp. No. What? Yeah. That was in the summer, I believe. So I was power cleaning, and I was trying to max out. And when I got the bar up, I had gotten my right arm up, but I didn't lock my left arm out. And so when I went to drop, I actually dropped out like this. So I had my left knee in front of the bar. I didn't get both legs out. And so I dropped 330 pounds right above my kneecap.
Jesus. Oh yeah.
And I thought that I just had taken the center knurl of the bar and just scraped my leg, you know?
Right. Right.
And so I was like, okay, it's numb for a little bit. That'll go away. You know, I just scraped
Yeah.
my knee. And my strength coach looks at my knee and he goes, you better go look at that. Like, go. It was Fall
Get
Stick.
that checked out. Yeah.
Fall Stick was still our trainer at the time.
Right. Right.
And he goes, you better go see Fall Stick. And there was a fluid had built up in my knee and it was just jiggly there.
I'm rubbing my knee right now.
Oh yeah. So, you know, he told me that I blew a bursa sac in my knee and then I ended up suffering permanent nerve damage.
Man.
But in classic Fall Stick, he went, what's your class schedule look like? So,
yep.
So I got that fixed, but that didn't keep me out. And then I had a torn labrum in my shoulder, spring ball.
Okay. Unreal, dude. Unreal.
So,
you know what, man? When people ask me if I miss it, my easy initial answer is just yes. Of course I do.
Yeah.
But like, as you tell this story, no, I don't, man. I don't. That was it, man. Like, just when you say like how you were riding this plane back from Navy, all swollen up, like
yeah,
every single set, just swollen. Everything, my hands. I couldn't even use my hands all week long. Like everything always hurt. You just even practice. So like, of course, I'm glad I didn't. Wouldn't change that for the world. But do I miss it? That's a tough thing to miss. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I know it really is. Oh, my camera's all jacked up here. It like that was one of the things that it's hard because I get people that ask me the same questions.
Yeah.
You know, where's the camera? There we go. Like I miss it too. You know, you miss those games, and it's like, would I do it all over again? Probably.
Yeah, if I can go back to that age.
You know,
if someone told me there was a 30 and over league right now and you can play in it, I probably wouldn't do that, right? Right.
Exactly. And it's just, you know, for me, like, and that's one of the big things. Like I see you do some of this stuff and like, for me, like it just makes my knees hurt because I feel like I could do like the more dynamic stuff that you do, like that's really the golden ticket.
Yeah, that's how I feel like I'm burning the calories and eating up the fat, building some muscle.
Yeah,
kind of like the weird movements that you don't think to do.
Right.
That's where I feel like it's working the most. You know, I know I did come out pretty unscathed. I had some hip problems about 2 years ago, so I went to the doctor to get it checked out, and I got an MRI. I am a 100. My labrum is torn, just gone, in my right hip. I'm a 100% candidate for a hip replacement. He says he could do it today. That's how bad my hip is.
Wow.
But he's just going to hold off until I can't walk it. He said, bottom line is when I give you a new hip, it's going to be a new hip. It doesn't matter if I fix it when you're at like 60% or if you're at 0%. So just go beat the hell out of it and hopefully we hold off for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So I'm in constant hip pain. And that's like an inevitable thing. I'm going to get my hip replaced, which sounds to me like an 80-year-old man would do. Apparently, it's a little more prevalent than that, I guess. And apparently, it's a very easy surgery that it seems crazy to me, but apparently you're like walking out of the hospital afterwards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what they say. They're really good at hips now. Titanium hips they put in there, but that is one thing that I have to look forward to. So with everything that I do try to be a little bit careful of that. Like I don't squat more than, I want to say 225. I think I did 275 last week. But I mean, that's peanuts compared to what I, one, should be at my like size, and two, what I used to do. Like a year ago, I would do like 405 every day. And now like 275, that's it. And I box squat. You know what? I can't do that bottom little bounce with my hip. And you know what? If that's the modification I need to make at my age, I'll make it. That's fine.
Right.
That's fine.
So when you started training, what was the first thing that you did that, you know, because like you said, it was really an understanding of the programming, right? I mean, because I didn't fall in love with like working out and training until football was over. For me, it was just, you had to do it. Like, it was just automatic.
It was a job. Sure.
Exactly. Yeah. You went in there and you just did what you had to do. And then, you know, I wasn't, going over to the rec center afterwards and getting extra work. And I was going home saying,
possibly not even doing the whole plan. Like, you know what, man? Yeah, I only did 3 sets of squat. We're supposed to do 4. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You know.
Yeah. For me, so that was kind of like my mentality for a couple years after football. Like, I went to the gym begrudgingly. I didn't want to go every day, and I did. Oh, God, back in those days, I don't think I went every day. I probably went 3 times a week, and I did it because I knew I should. Never because I really wanted to go to the gym. It wasn't until a little bit older, and I say now, if I had this mentality about working out in college, oh my God, I'd be the best. I'd be the best NFL player in the world. Like, I remember being in the weight room, like, I did not want to be in there. I didn't. Like, I didn't hate it, but I definitely wasn't looking forward to workouts.
Yeah, I wasn't
now
either.
I cannot wait, you know? So I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm in control of it now and I do what I want. But either way, like, if I had this mentality then, like, the other thing, me and my buddies, we run every Sunday. We go to the local field and we run sprints. The workouts that we used to think were hard for, like, summer conditions. I have my Kent State summer book, probably 2002 or something. That would be what we do 10 times that now. I mean, I don't know if you remember this. One workout in the summer, which we thought was so hard and did not want to do, would be like 6 gassers. And a gasser was down and back, sideways. Yeah. So 6 of those. We do 16 of those now.
Yeah.
And then some full gassers, down, back, down, back. And now we're just old men doing it because we want to stay in shape. And I say, man, I used to think this was hard in college. I really wish I would have had this mentality then, man. I really do.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You bring up a really good point there, is the mentality piece. Like, how much of it, was it just us being – because I was the same way. We'd get there and they'd be like, I remember Coach Tedford, it was, we're going to do 8 gassers for Miami.
Yeah,
and I would just say, oh, shit, like, this is going to be awful.
Yes. Anxiety. I used to have anxiety. Yeah.
And you focus so much on the fact that you had to do it instead of understanding. I think part of it is probably just age too. You don't understand the benefit that it's providing you.
Right. I 100% would have thought at that time, if you'd asked me back when I was 20 years old, I will be just as good as a football player without running these gassers. I did not think that doing that made me better. It did, and now I realize that. But at the time, I would rather just go play the game. Like, I didn't realize the work you needed to put in to be better.
Yeah.
And those 8 gassers killed me.
Yeah. And, that's one thing that I'm seeing a lot with I don't coach anymore, but I was coaching. I'd coached for 10 years. And seeing the times from when we played and after I had left into trying to help kids understand, here's why the weight room is important. Here's why you want to do this. I was coaching kids who were leaving high school who were squatting close to 600 pounds. Yeah. Things that I was like maxing out with in college with at the time,
Right.
And so you're seeing like this whole new generation of kids who not only love weightlifting, but they appreciate what it's doing for them because they realize how much farther it can take them.
Right.
And so that mentality is just so, I found that to be, especially since I've done, I've been done playing, that's made all the difference for me.
Mm-hmm.
For you, what was so you started going to the gym. Where was the transition in terms of your training, like that you started to recognize like, hey, wow, things are getting easier. The weight's dropping off, obviously, because everybody always wants to know the magic diet. The simple answer is just, you don't eat as much. Make sure you're in a calorie deficit.
So unfortunately, that was it at first. It was just the concept of not eating as much. That's how it started. And then I realized, wow, this weight drops off fast when I do that. I used to, this is probably 8 years ago now. And I would tell people every time I felt hungry and it wasn't meal time, I ate an apple. That's all I would do. And I kind of like trained my body to like, hey buddy, if you think you're hungry, all you're getting is an apple. So are you really hungry? And then before you knew it, I just wasn't hungry anymore because I was like, I don't want that apple. So that's all I'm doing. And then it wasn't until I lost a lot of weight from doing that I realized I can change up my workouts and I could run. I never ran in my life. Like, I never ran. I don't know. We ran 2 miles once during winter conditioning. I don't know if it was a punishment. I can't remember. It was not 8 laps. 20 laps maybe around the indoor track. It was maybe 20 laps. Yeah. Okay. It was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. I couldn't do that. Like, I could not do that. So from leaving Kent until I was about 28 years old. So for those 6 years, I never ran. I would just say I'm not a runner and my knees can't handle it. I always had an excuse. And when I dropped a lot of weight just from eating less, I went and ran.
Mm-hmm.
I think I ran like 3 miles, no problem. And I was like, whoa, I got a little bit of a high from that. And then I started running more and more. And I never became a distance runner by any means, but I would do 3 to 5 miles once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped me lose a lot of weight. I don't do that anymore. Then I got into the cardio big time, the stair stepper for an hour. Like, I know now that was probably not the best idea or didn't really do a whole lot, but the fact that I could do it impressed me,
right.
you know? And then the screen on the stair stepper said, you burned 1,400 calories. Now, who knows how many you really burned, but it would say that. I liked it. And then it wasn't until I started working out with a CrossFit guy. Now, we didn't do CrossFit, and I'm not a big CrossFit fan just because I can't do those movements.
Mm-hmm.
But that was when I learned about like putting your body in compromising positions or circuit training. You know, you don't bench press and you wait 5 minutes to bench press again. You got 3 things set up.
Mm-hmm.
And you do all 3, and then you take a quick break and you get right back to it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like what changed my workouts, working out with that guy and seeing like, oh, I don't need this. I can do a whole hour without stopping.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what molded my workouts now. Now I've just completely evolved from that, but that's still my basic concept, you know, basically circuit training.
So how much weight did you originally lose?
The highest I ever was 318. I weighed in at the Washington Redskins minicamp at 318. The lowest I've ever been, at least that I've seen on a scale, was 255.
Wow.
And that, yeah, I'm back up to about 270 now, but that's by choice, I think. Maybe not necessarily by choice, just by like lifestyle. But yeah, I saw what is that? That's 60, 70 pounds about probably at one point. Yeah.
Well, that 275 is pretty solid though, so I think that number is okay.
That's what I like to think, and I might be sitting here in 5 years going, I used to tell myself that 275 was okay, you know. But I think right now I'm good. I'm good right now.
I think if you ask most people, they'd agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah. And if like someone were to guess my weight, they're always like 230. I'm like, all right, cool. At least I hope I look 230, but no, definitely not 230.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once you started figuring that out, and then you put some of that muscle back on, you know, so is it how often are you lifting now? Is it every day? Is it just, you know, every other day? What's your schedule look like?
Okay, so I have 2 jobs. Let's go pre-COVID, right?
Sure.
Right now things are way different. So pre-COVID, I'm a high school teacher by day, and I work at the nightclub at night. Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights are my work nights. Obviously, I worked Thursday, Friday day at school. So Thursdays and Fridays, I worked both jobs. No time to try to squeeze in a workout. So that would be my deal. I would always take Thursdays and Fridays off just because I had to, because I didn't sleep those days. I didn't have time, so I just took Thursdays. So I was doing it 5 days a week. And I liked that. Thursdays and Fridays were pretty good recovery day. That was 2 in a row is good. Right now, with all the time in the world, unfortunately, I forced myself to take Wednesdays off because I just know that I need a day to rest, even though I don't feel like I do. Like I would like to do workouts on Wednesdays, but I know it's smart not to. And then on Sundays, we just run. So 45
So that's more of
minutes
your active recovery day than on Sunday.
Right. I guess yeah. It's a pretty tough run, but yeah, no, I don't touch any weights.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I don't know, man. Like then on Thursdays we do legs. We don't do any upper body. So I feel like that's still another rest day for the upper body at least. I'm not sure if scientifically it works out that way, but you know, I feel like it's another rest day for the upper body. So
yeah,
that's kind of my schedule right now. School starts tomorrow, so that'll all change again. But
oh wow,
yeah,
that's early for you guys.
Well, it's early. If this didn't happen, it would have started even for students tomorrow. We adopted like 3 years ago the new thing where we start like early August, but we're out before Memorial Day.
Oh, okay.
So
do you like that method? Do you like that?
I like it so much better, man. So much better. That Memorial Day weekend is like our craziest weekend at the nightclub, and I need that to be like I don't have to go back to work on Tuesday, and now it's that way. But with this, I mean, not that we're talking about COVID because I don't want to, but the kids aren't coming, so I go tomorrow just to learn how to implement this new online system.
Gotcha.
And then in 3 weeks the kids start, and it's not at school. I'll be sitting right here doing that.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, 1 day off, 1 day completely off, 1 day of just a run.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now. Yeah.
What how did you end up figuring out the workouts that worked best for you? Because for a lot of people, one thing that I see a lot of is everybody's looking for, that, for lack of a better word, that magic pill. The
Right.
same thing with the diet. Everybody wants the one workout that is going to get everything done, almost like a cookie cutter.
Right.
Did you,
Right.
what? Can you explain to me the trial and error that you kind of figured out? Because you'd mentioned you went with the CrossFit guy and he kind of introduced you to circuit
Right.
training.
Right.
Where did you go
That was
from there?
Yeah, that was it, man. So I took that CrossFit concept. Like, I don't have anything against CrossFit. I think they're insane athletes, but it's not for me. I can't. They do a lot of like barbell snatching or that
Yeah, I can't do that
hang
either.
cleans, but they come down on the front squat all the way, and then they come up.
That's your full, that's your full clean.
Not happening for me, man. So while I enjoyed the CrossFit mentality, I couldn't do the CrossFit movement. So I think I modeled mine after that. So I guess the trial and error was essentially figuring out the lifts that did not work for me and the modifications to make them work. And, I don't know. I do a lot of things where I feel like I kind of made them up, like just because of all the things I just try. I'm sure someone's been doing way before me, but from everything I've seen, like, I feel like I kind of make things up that I feel like hit the muscle groups I want to hit. And then it is the circuit training. It's more like, the trial and error came in, like how many things can I do in a row before I need that first break?
Mm-hmm.
So like my circuits probably were like two exercises, take a break, and now I get up to like 5. So like just take chest day, for example, which is my least favorite day. But I'm gonna bench press. I'm immediately gonna grab the dumbbells and put those together in close grip. And then I'm immediately grab some lighter ones and then do my flies.
Right.
I'm gonna roll off the bench and do 10 push-ups. And then I'll throw some abs in to keep the heart rate up. And then I'll take my minute break.
Yeah.
But I want to do that entire thing first. And I feel like that's what's burning the calories the most.
Yeah.
Like my heart rate's up the whole hour.
Right. I mean, that's actually going to do it. I mean, when you're doing 3 compound movements in a row like that with no rest, how has that affected your strength, would you say, just for example, for the bench press? Because
so what I was going to say is that's probably not a great idea for a college athlete, right? Because they need to rest and get all the strength back and do as much as they can. So with that being said, it's affected my strength big time in the sense that I don't do remotely the weight I ever used to do.
Right.
But that's not a goal of mine. So when I bench press, I'm 225. I don't know that I'll ever put more than 225 on the bar. I can, no problem, but I don't want to. So I'm more about like being strong to a point, making sure my body looks a certain way, and it does nothing for me to say I benched 405 yesterday.
Yeah. So you're looking at more
I do not want to.
So I think you're probably, to define your type, you're much more of a functional fitness.
That's it, 100%.
Yeah.
100%, yes.
Yeah.
We do a lot of like, snatches, a lot of moving around. Since this deal happened where all the gyms closed, I had to make my own home gym. Okay. Luckily, I live on a cul-de-sac, so we can do it in the middle of the street. Like
that makes sense because I never noticed the cul-de-sac before.
I understand we look ridiculous.
I love the if anybody wants to check it out, it's at Chad B60, correct? That's your
630. Chad B630.
630 at Chad B630. Go check out his stories and look for the little orange marker with the flag.
Right, my neighbor. Well, if you ever notice in the stories that my neighbor comes out all the time, he's an older guy and he's retired, and he's like the crotchety guy in the neighborhood. And he comes out during the workouts, and he just wants to like be around and make sure everything's going up. Like you guys aren't breaking the street, are you? And I think he wants very badly to say stop, but he just like he knows he can't. And then he's the one that brought that little orange guy, the slow children. It says caution children. It says, I looked everywhere for one that said slow children because that's what you guys are. But here, now you got to have this one.
Yeah.
So we bring it out just to humor him. But yeah, it's real funny, man. But we use the whole street. And I really love the fact that gyms closed and I had to do this because now we set up these circuits where, we'll do like a lift and then we'll walk up 5 yards to the next lift, walk up 5 yards to the next lift. and then turn around and sprint back to the top and do it again.
Yeah.
And now we're just moving all around. There's no gym that has the space for that.
Right.
So I really like this new little deal we got going on here. Gyms are open over here again, and I'm hesitant to go back just because I like what I'm doing. I think once I get into a normal routine where I'm working again, I'll go back to the gym.
That was going to be my next question, was whether or not you were going to make the trek back.
I don't have, well, I feel like I've created a pretty good home gym during this time. I don't have I miss machines.
Yeah.
I want to do a tricep push down, you know. I want to do some cables every once in a while. So now the crazy out here in Vegas, we have 24-hour fitness, big time gym out here. They all went bankrupt. That was the gym I went to.
Yeah, that's right.
When I go back, I will not be going back to my gym that I've been at for 15 years. So I'll have to find a new one, which makes me a little even more hesitant. I don't like new stuff.
Have you thought about just trying to buy like a functional trainer?
One of the cable machines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually just telling my buddy yesterday it would fit right here in my garage. I can still get my truck in the garage. I would love one of those. But aren't we talking 10 grand?
No. You can get a functional trainer for under 2. You could get a good one for 15.
Is a functional trainer the one with the arms that go up, down, in, out, and have the cables, right? You have a functional trainer.
Right there in the corner.
Oh,
The
yes,
hoist.
that's the, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, you're saying you
Yeah.
can get one of those. Now that weight is enough weight too? At the 1500?
I've maxed out on it.
In terms of like high to low flies and stuff, probably?
For for push downs, but see, the one that I bought, it came with two different stacks, so you could get it from 1 to 15 or 1 to 20. Mine's the 1 to 15.
Okay, so
I think it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So, but it still works really, really, really good.
All right.
The other one that you could look at is right there. So that's the lat tower. If you see right next to the Smith machine there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that.
Then you can put your own weight on that.
Yeah. That might be probably better for, I would say, what you're trying to do.
Right.
Simply because you can do rows, you can do lat pull downs, you can get your push downs in.
Yeah.
Get a lot done. And that's cheaper. I think that was $450.
Okay.
Versus,
so I have looked into stuff like that or thought about stuff like that, but at the same time, I might just call my garage gym like my little, just what it is, just a hardcore gym, no cables and stuff, and then do my $15 a month at the gym for the days I just want to run up there and do stuff.
Right.
So I think if I got my hands on a functional trainer for pretty cheap, I might do it. But for the most part, I think I'll let the gym own that thing. Let them fix it when it breaks, and you just pay $15 a month to use it.
Right. Yeah. That I like the setups that you guys have done. Would you say? I was talking with another individual. We were having a discussion about looking at the opportunities that COVID has presented us, because everyone, obviously there's still some really nasty situations going on with it, but I've always tried to look at some of the positives that have presented itself, and for a lot of people, especially in the fitness realm, a lot of just the average people, like most of us, they've all discovered I actually can get things done in my own home. There's a lot of wasted time. And I think that was one thing that a lot of people started to find out was, I'm not spending my time wisely. There is actually time to work out, and people, for a lot of people, they've transformed their lives. They're not putting on the wrong kind of quarantine gains.
Yes. Go ahead.
I was going to say, have you found any benefits from the setup that you've had to, kind of been forced into?
Big time. Like, I'm actually really, really not happy it happened, but I'm happy my gym closed and happy that I had to figure this out. I had a lot of equipment in my garage and I didn't even know what I had. I just acquired it over the years. And then when gyms closed, I had to really wow, I got to dig everything out because I need everything. And then I had a couple buddies bring a few things, and I do. I love what we're doing now. And now this way I have friends that come over and work out every day, which I like so much more. At my gym, I work out alone every day. And now we're working out together, which I really enjoy. And yeah, I feel like getting creative is almost the key to like shaping your body and to getting different kinds of workouts. Even when I was at the gym, I would always say anytime I went on vacation and I walked into my hotel gym, I knew I was going to work out, and the hotel gym was just pathetic. And I'm going, oh, God. And then I would find that I would get a better workout in that little gym because I had to get super creative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these dumbbells aren't heavy enough for me, but if I do this, that'll make it heavier or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I'm doing now. So while I have a lot of equipment, more than most people, I don't have everything I need, but getting creative to make this equipment work for me, I think has helped big time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do like it. Yeah.
I think it's been, it's been interesting. I would say the least. I mean, I've been lucky enough that I haven't been able to.
The whole deal, yeah.
I'm almost there. I got a couple pieces left. I've transitioned more into like a powerlifting scene.
Okay.
But I'm trying to incorporate a little bit more functional fitness. But like, you know, I struggle with the knees, man.
Yeah.
You know, for me, that's the killer because I'm a little bit more beat up.
What gets you, squats?
No, it's anything that requires a lot of jumping.
Okay.
You know, like I can do the squats, I can do the heavy squats still. Yeah. But for me, it's that the impact on the knees for me in even being almost 100 pounds less than what I used to be.
Right.
Cause I'm probably sitting at right around 250. And like you, I was 320 at my biggest. Yeah. You know, and, but it's just been, you know, I feel it in my left knee where I tore my MCL. I'll feel it in my right knee from time to time. And so I struggle, you know, at times, whether or not that's an excuse or whether that's legitimate, you know, and, but like my shoulder, I suck at bench press because
of the shoulder,
you know, I've got 3 anchors in my shoulder. And so, you know,
so you got the labrum fixed?
I did. Yeah. Shoulder surgery was one of the most awful surgeries.
That's why I'm not fixing the hip labrum. I'm just going to wait.
Yeah. And it was, I'm glad that I did it. I needed it, but it will never be the same again. That's one reason. That's one reason I like the slingshot. So when I want to bench heavy, I like anything over 315, not happening.
Well, but even you don't think 315 is like an insanely heavy weight right now? Or? I mean, if you're a bench presser, I guess that's different. But I mean, I don't have a desire to put 315.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, I don't feel it like I don't know. You know, that was always like, even in like during our football days, that was always like that was the standard almost. You know,
oh yeah,
like,
3 plates.
If you're not doing 3 plates, then what the hell are you doing?
Right.
You know. And if you're not hitting 5 on the squat, what are you doing? You know?
I was never a good power lifter, man. Maybe is it because I'm long and lanky? I don't know, but I was never a good power lifter. Yeah. I didn't bench press nearly what I should have for my weight, or squatted nearly what I should have for my size. But yeah, I know what you mean though. Yeah. So it's hard to get away from that. Like 315, like you need to be doing 315. Yeah. I've gotten away from that. I'm more of like a speed and agility guy now, man. Like I take pride in the fact that I'm running those 16 110s. We do those like every couple of weeks, and I'm always trying to do it in like receiver time. Like no more lineman. I don't get to be a lineman anymore. So I take a little bit of pride in like my agility and speed and jumping more than I do my strength. And that's probably just, I morphed what I wanted to do based on what I can do, because I can take pride in my strength, but it's not there. So it'd be a silly thing to take pride in, you know?
Well, and that's the great thing about just everybody's own training styles, is that whatever works for them is what works for them.
And I think that's what makes you enjoy it. Like we say, like, college football, we enjoy it because we walked in and did what we were told to do.
I think you're right.
Right. And now that's like, hey, I know what I'm good at, and I'm just going to do those things.
Exactly.
You know? No one's going to come over here and tell me I need to do whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoy training so much.
Yeah. If someone came up to me and said, I want you to run 16 110s.
It's ridiculous. There's not a day that goes by that we do things like that and I don't walk off the field like questioning who I am. Because if you'd have asked me when I played college football, hey, when you're a grown adult, like pushing 40, are you still going to be running on a football field doing bleachers and 110s? I would have laughed at who asked me that. No, I will never do this again in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we all know that. We all talk about the fact that we're so stupid for doing it.
Yeah.
You know, it makes me
Absolutely.
feel great, and I think it's making me healthier.
I
So
think too, it keeps us young at heart,
it
you
does,
know,
man. It
the,
does.
because I've seen plenty of guys too who let themselves go. Oh,
Yep, yep,
and they
yep,
don't look good.
yep,
And,
yep, yep.
and I was talking to, I forget who I was talking to about it, but it is funny because it's like after college you see a lot of guys, the skinny, everything's reversed.
Yep,
And so
yep.
it's the inverse factor where most of the fat guys all become the skinny guys, and all the
Well,
skinny
yeah.
guys
Yep.
they
My buddy Cedric Davis. Remember,
I
Cedric.
remember said, yeah.
He lives in New York, but he came out here not too long ago. And we worked out together, and I would just say how we're both linebackers now. Like you were a
Yeah.
DB and I was a lineman. We're both linebackers, baby. We met in the middle. You're a big guy, and I've gotten smaller, so we're just both linebackers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
It's been interesting, because just you find out, at least for me, I found out so much more about myself because I'm in constant isolation in terms of, I don't work out with anybody. I've been doing this for
Right.
10 years now.
Right.
Even before I had the home gym, I would work out like you at the gym, but it was by myself,
Right. Right.
And so you start to find out things about yourself and what you're capable of doing. And then you start to look at, I actually can do this, or I can do that. What were some things that, as you went through your own transition, what were some things that you kind of maybe discovered about yourself that you hadn't realized before?
Like fitness ability wise.
It could be anything, it could be the fact that, something that maybe you learned from yourself in the gym that you applied in your work or in life, or just,
Okay. Yeah.
anything in
So
general, really.
right. So basically, like my work ethic that I newly discovered or recently discovered, well past my football days, that has kind of shaped my life in the sense that I almost expect it out of other people. And I have to
That's
remember
good.
not to, right? So
Yeah.
I coached high school football for 6 years. And as I would push my work ethic on those kids, I would have to remind myself, hey, when you were this age, you didn't want to do this.
Right.
And hey, when you were this age, I didn't understand the benefit of lifting heavy or of running the conditioning after. And it was hard for me to even fathom that you kids don't want to condition after practice because that's what makes you better.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God.
What do you
My
mean you
coach
don't
in
want
high
to run
school-
after a 2.5 hour
When my coach in
practice?
high school told me that, I was like, dude, shut up. I don't want, what? And I'm like, oh, these kids are thinking to me, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? I think that it also has, I don't know, it's benefited me. And I think that it's benefited people around me. I think a lot of my friends will say that like, I don't slow down in anything that I do. And I'm always on the go. I work the 2 jobs, and and then there's a lot of people that I know that have taken on a second job because they just see me do it and they think like, wow, like it is. I just realized now that I know you, it is boring to only have one job
Yeah.
and to not hit the gym every day. Like, man, how do you fit this all in a day? And then they meet me and they realize like, oh, you got a pretty good routine where it's like you do fit crazy stuff in your day, but it doesn't seem too daunting the way you do it. So I think that I've motivated some people into a lifestyle similar to mine. I realize sometimes I'm crazy because my second job goes till 4 a.m. and my day job starts at 6 a.m. So there's a lot of like no sleep there, and I don't expect anybody to do that. But I know there are a lot of teachers that after just knowing me for years realize, wow, teaching is not as demanding time-wise as I thought it was. I can do this or this. I hope they would think like, I'm grateful that he got me into this because now they're sitting pretty with 2 jobs, to where they were.
Right.
So.
I think that's, you brought up the work ethic, and I think that's so true, because when like creating, the big thing is like you're creating a healthy lifestyle, you're creating healthy habits. And it's when you do anything good for that long of a period of time, you start to realize, hey, then it becomes automatic. And then like you had said earlier, if you miss a day, or, you have to program a day in, to take off. I think that's telling you that you're doing something right.
Right. You're right. When you say it becomes automatic, man. And I think that you have to live the lifestyle to feel that way. Like, because the time that I'm working both jobs and it's strenuous and I'm fitting in the gym, is the times that I'm more efficient.
Yeah.
So like for a teacher, summer vacation, I'm just doing the weekend thing. I'm free all week. I find myself to be a little lazier. I need I got to keep going. And then I fit more in when I'm going. And I just like kind of my theory on life is recently has changed to like, hey, free time's great and going out with your friends and partying is great. And everyone needs to do that. But I think it needs to be few and far between. And then I think you'll enjoy it more. When you have every single weekend free, I think the law of diminishing returns sets in. It's like, what are we doing again this weekend? What are we doing again with this day that we're going to hang? You know, I like to just go. And do get that free time. It happens naturally. I have 2 days off in a row. I make the best of it, you know? So I think it's more quality than, you know, I don't need a ton of free time. So I kind of structured my life around that concept of not giving myself a ton of free time. So when I do get it, I make the best of it.
Yeah. So it almost sounds like too, you thrive under chaos a little bit.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because
if I have too much free time, I don't structure myself well.
Yeah. I mean, the 2 jobs is one thing, but a back-to-back job like that, it's
ridiculous. Yeah.
That sounds intense. I mean, how do you get past that? You know, so you get up and you go to school on Thursdays, and then you go right from school.
I have some time in between, right? So right there, so I have a 5-hour break in between, and that's where I just sleep. And I mean, everybody who knows me knows on Thursdays and Fridays, I do not exist.
Yeah.
Don't call me, don't text me, don't ask me to do something. I just don't exist because I go to school, I come home, take a nap, I go to the club. I come home from the club, I take a 1-hour nap and go right back to school. So I'm teaching every day on Friday. I'm teaching on 1 hour of sleep if I even get that 1 hour in.
Right.
And then I do the same thing. Friday, come home from school, take a nap, go back to the club. And then you know what? Saturday, I still force myself to wake up at like 11 a.m. after like 6 or 7 hours of sleep and go to the gym. Saturday was always my day where I swam a mile at the gym. You know, and I would never let myself say like, you know what, man, I just worked 4 shifts in 2 days, barely slept. So Saturday I'm sleeping all day. Like I wouldn't let myself do that.
Yeah.
Because I felt like if I let myself do that once, my new Saturday routine became sleeping all day.
Yeah.
And I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I would set my alarm for 11 a.m. on Saturdays, wake up, go to the gym and just make myself do it. And I felt better every time. I hated myself when my alarm went off, but then, you know, I knew it was gonna make me feel better. So, so yeah, just pushing it to that extreme. Like, I don't think you can do a lifestyle like this if you took all the in-between time and decided I'm doing nothing with it. You got to always kind of keep going. But I will say this, that since kind of everything for the last couple of months and I'm sleeping 8 hours a night, there is something to that. All those doctors were right. I'm sleeping a lot more now than I ever have, and I'll tell you, there's something to that. So when everything comes back, I might value sleep a little bit more than I used to.
Yeah. I mean, if you're pushing that big 4-0, man, you got to get those 8s in, right?
I know, man. That's my new thing. When everything comes back, I may start taking a few nights off to get more sleep in.
Yeah.
I say that now, but
yeah, you say that now, and then once
back in the routine.
Once the madness goes, probably be right back into it.
Back in the routine, right.
Has there been anything? Did you get anything from, you know, I've talked about it before and I made some posts about it, but, you know, for me, football was not only just playing football, but what it taught me as, you know, as a person about time management, about accountability, about leadership. One of the things that I always remembered was Coach Martin had said, the football field, football will expose your character. Right. Because under duress, it's going to show you exactly who you are. And that always stuck with me. And I looked at how other people reacted during a game, and I remembered that. You know, was there anything similar to that, you know, at least the game of football has taught you that you've carried over into life?
I truly think everything. I don't think I could be where I'm at today without football. And that doesn't speak to football skill in any way, or like just what we went through playing college football. And I've spoke to students on this before, that it really does set you up for a successful life. Mm-hmm. You learn time management. You learn that you cannot be late to things. And that's not like you shouldn't be late. So my kids, when I coach football, asked me what happened if you were late in college, like to a practice or a game. I said,
Yeah.
to be perfectly honest, man, I don't even think we had a rule for that. If you were late, you just kind of didn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like you just weren't late. Like I don't know how to explain this to you. It just didn't happen.
Yeah.
It just didn't. No one was late. You had to be there. You had to be. Or if you missed a practice, I think that was what it was. They asked what happens if you miss a practice. I said, honestly, God, I don't think it ever happened. In my 4 years there, I don't think someone just missed. You can't. You just don't. Well, what if you did? I want to answer your question. I really do, but you just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. There wasn't a what if you did. It wasn't. It was a scenario that didn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the KGB is going to come into your dorm room at night and they're going to ship you off to Siberia or something, you know?
Yes. Or could you imagine if someone just didn't go to practice? Maybe guys were late. So maybe I was, but not going and not having just like the next day, like, oh, I said, hey, sorry, I missed practice, sorry, coach. No, unheard of. There literally wasn't anything in the handbook that explained what would happen if you did that because it just didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So like that mentality set me up for this. So I don't miss a day of work. I've never shown up late to work. What I spoke to high school kids about when they were like questioning whether college sports is the right thing to do, I said, it's 100% the right thing to do. You're not going to go pro, or maybe I hope you do, but that's not the goal there. The goal is you're learning how to be a successful adult. And what I mean by that is we've had to wake up at 5:30 in the morning to get to 6 a.m. workout, or 7 in the morning to get to 6 a.m. workout. We've go, winter conditioning, it was freezing cold outside, and we all parked our cars outside. There's no garages. So we dealt with that. We got there on time. We put our bodies through hell, and then we went to class all day. We've done it all. So there's nothing I can see as an adult that shocks me. Like, now you've done it. Now I think like we weren't in the military, and I feel like it's the same thing from the military, maybe more extreme because your life's on the line. So I don't want to compare college football to the military because that's probably more extreme. But same concept. You wake up at the crack of dawn. You stay up too late because you got stuff to do. You don't get enough sleep. You work your body to a point you didn't think you can work your body. And so when you're an adult, you're not going to see anything that shocks you. Oh, my job starts at 7 in the morning. Yeah, I'm ready for that. But if you're a regular college kid, 7 in the morning, that didn't exist to you,
Be like, holy hell, how can I get up at 7 in the morning?
They may struggle. A regular college student might struggle when they get to the real world and go, oh my God, I gotta work 9 hours today. I'm only supposed to work 8. Yeah, we've probably done 16 hours of work all on the field. So like,
think about those 2 days. I mean, those were brutal.
Man.
7 a.m. I remember like when I was coaching too, I would tell our kids, like they would say, well, when did 2 days start? I said, well, they were supposed to start at 7, but at 6:52, you could hear the air horn and the GAs were banging on the doors, telling you to get up. But you could hear them. They were 3 levels down.
Oh yeah. And you didn't want to hear it on your level. That was loud enough. You wanted to open the door, but don't do it. We're all up. We're all up.
But you also hoped that by some divine interference that they would somehow miss your door.
Right, man. Because you were so sound asleep, like you couldn't even imagine. Every morning you would say, "Okay, I'm not doing it today. I'm not," and that would last 0.3 seconds, but it went through your mind every day. I'm not. I'm just not.
Yeah.
And then you're up doing it. But you had to think for a minute. I'm not doing it. And not only was it 7 in the morning, you were so sore.
Oh.
I mean,
after that first day of contact.
When you sat up in that stupid little single bunk bed, you just thought to yourself, I can't do it. I cannot put those wet shoulder pads back on and that gross helmet and go out there and hit again. Yeah. And for 4 years, you did it every day. Yeah. And that is what football teaches you. It doesn't matter if you were a good football player or a bad football player. It doesn't matter if you ended up having a shot at the NFL. None of that matters. If you went through it, even if you went through it as a guy who didn't play, you still went through it, and it's going to make you a more successful adult.
Absolutely. And the like – and one thing that I always remembered was the 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. I mean, it was 2 weeks straight, every day.
Yep.
And
it was football. That was it.
But it's very similar to like working out, or like you had said, you're forcing yourself to get up at 11 a.m. Looking back, now that we have, the ability to see it in hindsight, it was like, that was probably the worst 2 weeks every year of my life for those 4 years. And
hell week.
But you always felt like you accomplished something. Like how many
Yes.
people could really say that they
Mhm.
did something on that level,
Right.
you
Right.
know,
That
and
you just
competing at a
dreaded
high
it so
level. I
hard.
mean, we had some good people on the team.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, there were guys that played on Sundays,
Oh yeah,
you
still are.
know, and
Yep.
just like I always felt like that was something that I could kind of hang my hat on.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and it's not like the 2 days now where it's, you know, things are much more
Or they can't even do it now,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, it's like a 2 a day and then a half a day, or it's a 1 a day. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I can't,
Yeah. Your
I
second
think,
one has to be walk through only. Yeah.
yeah, it's changed so
Yeah.
much. I remember it was, I think the first year, my first year, it might've been my first year, the year after you left, where they had just changed the rule from a 2 day every day to a 2 a day, 1 a day.
Every other day. But
Um,
didn't we kind of make the second day that wasn't supposed to be a 2 a day, a 2 a day?
Pretty
They
much.
sort of,
Yeah.
yeah.
They found a way around it. Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
oh, it's just
yeah,
walkthroughs.
yeah.
Oh, you guys are going so slow. Go put your pads on. I believe that's illegal, sir. All right, I'll put my pads on.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. If you wanted to play, by God, then
Yeah.
you know,
You're gonna do what you're told, right?
you got to do what you're told. Exactly. And,
Right.
but I mean, those were, like you had said, it taught me so much, but it also, like, it, you know, it bonded so many friendships, but it made you so accountable to somebody else. And I think that's what, like, for me, that's what's been so critical, is, you know, that other people actually are going to rely on you, and they're going to
Right.
need you to, you know, to show up
Right.
and do what you need to do, you know, like 7 o'clock. I always, and you brought up the military too. And that made me to think about, I remember those cold mornings walking into the field house, and there was only two groups of people. There was the football team, and then there was the ROTC. Like,
Right.
that was it.
Right. They were
They
doing it
were,
with us, right?
yeah, they were running around the track, and I thought to myself,
Yeah.
well, hey, at least we're not alone.
Right.
You know, and but that was it. There was nobody else there. There was nobody else there.
The
So
normal person. No, and you're
yeah.
right. Like what you said earlier, I do pride in it, man. Just doing it and going through it. And it was years ago now, and I try not to be one of those guys that like still is constantly trying to relive his college football days. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta now at my age, you gotta ask me if I played college football.
Yeah.
Not if I played college football. I'm not one of the guys that walks around. Hey, guess what I did?
Yeah.
Oh, at Kent State. Like, oh, buddy, no one cares unless they ask. So, but I do take pride in it. If you ask me,
Yeah.
I'll tell you all about it. And I do take
Yeah.
pride that I did it and I accomplished it. And I know that a lot of people did not. And no, I do like the fact that we've gone through that. Yeah.
Yeah. I would totally agree with you on that. And it's
Yeah.
something that even at the end of the day, man, it's something like football. Just, I mean, just things like that in general. I'll never forget the story. It was my freshman year. We walked in, and it was the assistant athletic director. She sat us down. We had a small class. I think we had 15. And she said, look around to your left and right. And she said, take a good look at everybody. So I'm sitting there doing this, looking around. And she goes, in 4 years, half of you will be gone. And I thought, there's no way. There's no way. Like, you know, I think 95% of us here were on scholarship. I'm like, who's going to throw that away?
Right.
4 years later, there were 7 of us.
That's right.
She was right.
I know. It's crazy, right?
And it is, like, people didn't play, so they quit. People didn't play, so they transferred, or they didn't get the grades. Like, how do you flunk? How do you flunk out of Kent? Like,
right.
Just show up.
Yeah, they made it hard to do that.
Yeah.
But there was the group of people, man, like whatever percentage it was, it seriously just quit.
Yeah.
Like, this sucks. This is too damn hard.
Yeah.
So,
and it goes back to that the old quote, like, those who stay will be champions. And even though that never really worked out for us the way we had wanted it, at least as a team, I think individually, you look around the people.
You now know what that quote means. We're champions now because we did it, and now what we're accomplishing in life. Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. Because if you look around, the people who left, at least our program, everybody's doing really, really well. I mean, really well. And there's a reason for that, you know, and it's the fact that, you know, I was raised with the mindset of you're going to finish what you start. So if you don't like it, I mean, at least finish it. I mean, by God, it's at least a free education for those who are lucky enough. So, but
that was key. And that was a huge key too, because I got a lot of buddies that are in some pretty big student loan debt.
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
luckily don't have. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been, you know, for me, it was always, that was always kind of a highlight, I guess, in my life. So, but
Right. Oh yeah. A
it's
total
been
blessing. Yeah.
it's been a highlight for a lot of people too. And
Hmm.
just the fact that, even though we only played 1 year, that's, secured a bond, you
Right.
know, simply
Right.
because of that, but also because we played the best position in football. I mean, let's be
Right, baby.
honest.
It's in by far the hardest. And I got to tell those DBs that all the time, man. You guys might make contact 3 times a game.
Right.
Every play, baby. Every
Yeah.
play we were out there.
Yeah. 72 plays of car crashes
That's it.
every single
Just
time.
boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, did you make 3 tackles today? That was the only 3 times you hit a guy. All right, relax.
Yeah. I'll never forget. It was, I had a buddy of mine. He was my roommate, and he was our long snapper. If Mueller is listening to this, he'll probably remember it. But he was our long snapper, and so it was me and Filippi. He was a defensive end, and so we were going through. I think this was my senior year. We had just got through one-on-ones, and we got home, and we were all iced up, and we're like, oh man, what a day. We're just sitting on the couch, and Mueller comes in, and he goes, man, my back's a little sore today.
Bending over.
15
man.
minutes of snapping the ball. And we both like simultaneously were just like, shut up, Mueller. Like,
Yes.
seriously, like you're going to say your back's a little sore. Like, and so, those are the kind of things that you remember and that really brings you closer together. But, it was really good. So, but, and it sounds like, especially for you, not only the things that you have learned, you've been able to help pass them on to, other kids and really push that same work ethic mentality, and especially with, how you're training too, because I mean, it's just unbelievable. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, because
thank you.
There's a lot of people that I have talked to, who have said, like, how in the hell is he doing that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not surprised. It's not anything as the flag in the behind you. It's not a Superman effort. Right. It's just consistency and doing what you need to do.
Make it a part of your lifestyle, man. Yeah. Yep.
And like you said, and I think that was the most important thing, was you're doing something that you enjoy.
Right.
And if you find out what you like, regardless of what it is, then you're going to continue it, and you'll have a better lifestyle because of it.
Right. I think so too. Yep.
But so I got a couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
The first one would be, if there's any, do you have any books or any podcasts that you would recommend to any of the probably dozens of listeners out there?
Right. Okay, so here's the deal with that. I wish I had a better answer to this. I have read all the books, and I listened to Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Sparingly though. I'm really big when he has a doctor on, or a nutritionist, or any of those things. He does a lot of those MMA shows, and a lot of the comedians, who it probably is a very entertaining show, but I feel like I'm not going to get much out of it. So I do the Rogan when he has on some sort of doctor I think that I can relate to or want to get information from. When it comes to books, I was the guy that read all the books. I've read the David Goggins. I've read every NFL coach that's had a book. I've read it. Within the past couple of years, I've shied away from that, and I'm more into just reading novels now.
Okay.
I feel like, and this is not everybody, and I hope this isn't everybody, because I don't even think this is the right way to think about things, but I do. I would read those books. I would read about David Goggins, and he runs however many thousands of miles a day. I end up not changing much about my life after reading it. I read it and I think, oh my God, he's right, or this guy's crazy, or wow, that's why he's so successful. And I realize that my life doesn't change very much afterwards. I don't actually take those things and apply them to my life. So I'm a guy that seeks out what I feel like I need. I cherry pick my information.
Okay.
So I don't do a lot of the biographies anymore due to that fact. So if I feel like I'm lacking something in my life, I'll seek out that information. I'll find the one piece of a biography that I need to hear about. But so no real books right now, except, the most recent I did read, the David Goggins Can't Hurt Me. I think everybody has, and that is something I would suggest reading.
Mm.
But for the most part, that just kind of made me realize this guy's a freak, and I'm
Yes.
not anymore. Now I'm not, because I thought I was, but I'm not. And that's about all I got out of that.
Yeah.
So
How about, do you have any good quotes that you like? Is there one that was there ever a go-to with a student or a former player, or just something that if you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole?
right. Specifically, I don't know. Not one comes off the top of my head, but I was obviously real big into the Lombardi quotes when I was coaching.
Yeah.
I have I should actually bring it out here in the gym, but I have the whole the winning is not a sometimes thing quote hanging up in my closet. So it's the first thing I see every morning.
Mm.
And I'm also real big on Muhammad Ali, his inspiration and his
Yeah.
quotes. So I have a Muhammad Ali book, and I have all of Lombardi's quotes are used. That was what I would write on top of the pregame sheet that I would give to the linemen.
Okay.
Here's all our goals. Would always be a Lombardi or a Muhammad Ali quote on top.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So those are the two guys. Yeah.
That's good. Okay. And then the last thing, I always end my podcast with two things. So
one, before you say that, and I don't know
Sure.
why I forgot this. I did just read the Pat Tillman book called Where Men Win Glory.
Mm.
Fantastic book. Not that everybody doesn't already know that Pat Tillman was like the epitome of American hero.
Yeah.
You don't even realize how much of American hero he was until you read that book. Like what he gave up to do what he did.
Incredible.
Is incredible.
I think
so
it was,
that
wasn't it like $3.5 million a year or something like that?
Not only was it that, and that was the part I did know. So I say, like, everyone knows he was an American hero.
Yeah.
But he went in as an enlisted guy. Like, not one person in the Army cared who he was.
Right.
He had to start at the bottom, more bottom than you can even imagine. Like, nobody cared who he was. Nobody even knew who he was. And he still did it. Like, you'd think, like, hey, I'm going to do this, but also I'm going to be known as the guy that did this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, I'm going to go into some sergeant, and I'm going to be interviewed all the time. Like, you left football. The NFL did this. No, he went in as a dude at the bottom, and he dealt with all the crap. He had 19-year-olds telling him what to do, and he took it. And he took it because this is what he signed up for.
Yeah.
So it's called Where Men Win Glory by John Krakow. That was a fantastic book. Yes.
Wow. Okay. That's a good one. I'm going to have to read that.
To me. Yeah, Where Men Win Glory is good.
So I always end every podcast with two things. So give me the first word or phrase that pops into your head when you hear strength.
Commitment.
Oh, that's good.
Can't be strong without the commitment.
Oh, I like that. Every answer's been different so far. So
okay, cool.
I think you're what are you? Number 8, number 9, something like that. But that's so we're consistent here.
Okay.
How about leadership?
Man, leadership just to me, not specific word, but leadership just to me is more like what am I looking for? Just confidence and confidence in what you bring to the table. I think.
Okay.
Confidence.
Good. Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Can't lead a bunch of people unless you know, like, hey, you should be following me.
Yeah. Okay. So like influence.
Right.
Okay.
You got to believe in yourself, man, or else why are these people following me? So,
right.
Yeah, you have to have the confidence to know that I'm doing the right things.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, Chad, I think that's it, man.
Cool. Glad this happened, man.
Yeah, I appreciate the time. Thanks a lot. This went a little bit longer, but
that's all right.
Appreciate it, man.
I'm not working. I got nothing going on.
Yeah. So hopefully school goes well for you.
Yeah. Starting that tomorrow, man. Waking up at 5:30 again. Here we go.
All right. Get after it.
I will, man. Good luck with everything you're doing. Everything over there looks great.
Awesome.
And what do you think? I mean, you put 15,000, 20,000 in that gym down there, right?
What?
More. A ton of money in that gym that you've got down there.
It's been I've told people, and I said it in another interview too, because it looks like, people who see this, they'd be like, wow, like you spent a lot of money. I actually haven't, because I'm very strategic. So I'm one to manipulate birthdays and Christmases.
Yes.
So
yes. I'm a frugal guy myself, so I hear you. I hear you.
So I'll save up as much money as I can, and then every birthday and Christmas, my wife or my family will say, "Hey, what do you want for Christmas?" And I say, "I want gym equipment." And they're like,
Mhm.
"No more gym equipment." And I say, "I want gym
Yeah.
equipment." And then I give them the old guilt of, "Hey, well, aren't you going to be happy that you got me something for Christmas that I actually used and don't return it?"
Right. Right.
And so I'll take gym equipment.
Right.
And
Right.
so that's been a 4.5 year process. And
Okay.
I started with 300 pounds and a barbell and a set
Yep.
of dumbbells and a
Me too,
little
man.
rinky dink half rack, and that was it.
Right. Yeah, me too. Let me show
And
you my big purchase right here
yeah,
is
let's see it.
that big black guy in the corner there. That's the 100
Okay.
pound kettlebell.
Oh,
That
buddy.
thing. You ever swung one of those?
No,
They
but I've been
you
pretty
know,
close. I have a kettlebell
88.
attachment for my power block dumbbell, so
Okay.
I've gotten close to. I could pull 90s, I think, if I had a
Okay.
chance.
I always read that kettlebell swings are the best thing you can do if you're doing heavy enough.
Yeah,
If you're not doing them heavy enough, it's seriously doing nothing. And
yeah,
all I had was this 44 pounder over here, and I knew it wasn't heavy enough, so I got that damn 100. And I'll tell you what, to swing that thing does feel great. I feel it working. I really
yeah,
do. I think it's a game changer. But then then I'm doing like rows with it and other things with it. I'm like, damn, I should have got this damn kettlebell. This
yeah,
thing sucks.
yeah. Well, at least you have it now, so now you're
I
rocking.
know. I know. So I got it all. So, all right, man.
Yeah.
Well,
But
thanks for doing this. I had a
hey,
good time.
yeah, thank you, Chad.
All
Thanks
right.
for the
Yeah, let's
time,
talk
man.
again, man. Of course.
And
Good luck,
yeah,
man.
thank you very much.
All right.
See you, buddy.
See you later.